I would like to introduce myself. My name is Carrie Kreber. I'm currently a first grade teacher in the smaller town that I live in here in Nebraska. It's funny because I grew up in a really small town in Iowa on a farm. And, we always joke around like my dad's invincible. He always thinks he's invincible. He never goes to the doctor. Nothing's wrong with him. He never gets sick. But at the same time, I kind of have that same mentality of, yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's when, but I never thought of myself as ever getting cancer. And so being diagnosed was a huge shock, a very huge shock. I had gone into the emergency room for some severe abdominal pain. I went in thinking that it was kidney stones, my appendix had burst. I live in a town about 25,000 people. And as soon as I got there, they got me hooked up and sent me down for a CT scan. Once I was back from my CT scan, they had told me that they had found a mass, but the local gynecologist, he did not feel comfortable doing surgery. And so he said, I need specialized care and I needed to be shipped out because my town that we live in is just, it doesn't have, the level of care that I needed. So I spent quite a bit of time in the emergency room where they called larger cities. They called Omaha, Nebraska and Lincoln, Nebraska. They'd called 4 different hospitals and then ended up calling on one of the hospitals back again that was in Lincoln before being told, yes, that's fine. We'll take her. We'll have room by the time she gets here. So I was transported via ambulance from my smaller town to Lincoln. Long after the fact, I realized that the whole reason that they, one, couldn't find somewhere for me to go was because there was a shortage of beds, but there was also a shortage of beds in where they could find a gynecological oncologist. So living in a more rural area doesn't always have its perks per se, since there was not one very close. We had to travel almost 100 miles a little over 100 miles to find one. So I feel that since I had my cancer diagnosis, you lose that trust in your body and you lose that trust in yourself. I feel like I was betrayed by my own body, which has probably been one of the harder things to get through. And again, that's just all a mental mind game. Because I know my body's strong and I know that I'm healthy now, like I'm healthier. There's no more cancer, but at the same time, it's like I feel so weak because then at the same time, I'm then questioning my own body. Like I didn't see it coming last time. Is this what's going to happen next time? And so trying to learn to trust yourself and trust your body again is very hard. I also don't feel like I'm the same person I was 13, 14 months ago. I know I'm not the same person. I I think that's the hardest thing because I'm not the same person and I have anger against having cancer. It makes me angry because I'm not done with my kids yet. I'm not done being a mom. And knowing that my body betrayed me and I didn't have any symptoms has been really hard. But at the same time, how do you get past that anger? And how do you learn to trust again? And I don't know. You can look as peaceful as you can be, and you can look fully 100% recovered. And yet on the inside, mentally, you're crumbling because it just messes with your mental and emotional state. I feel like more people need to talk about that part of cancer